Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of ZankCast. For this episode, we have a blader from the Philippines region, a content creator with over 10,000 subscribers. We have for our guest today, MackTheBurst.
Hey, what is up, guys? MackTheBurst here. Hello, Zankye.
Thank you so
Thanks for
much,
having me here.
for being here. So, I want to start off. So, for the viewers that are wondering about you and about your channel, can you give just an introduction to yourself?
Oh, okay. So I am MackTheBurst, and I did Beyblade content for the past five years. Yeah, five years. Thank you so much. Yeah, 5 years, and then I kind of stopped because I was busy handling tournaments here in the Philippines, because also my content was I am traveling to Hong Kong or Japan every month, but due to the situation right now, it kind of stopped. So, yeah.
So, a little curious, because I saw when you made your channel, but I saw when you started doing content, it goes back to like 2017, 2018. So I'm a little bit curious, kind of, what got you into doing Beyblade or, even like MackTheBurst?
Okay, so I was a plastic gen enthusiast back then. So I was not really joining tournaments because what I have when I was a kid were fake Beyblades. So those were the metal ones that that destroys the real ones. So yeah. And then I was a silent viewer when you were doing metal fight content. So I was really a subscriber back then, but I think I was in college, so I was not playing Beyblade by that time. But I was buying the white left spin dragon. I forgot the name, and the Pegasus metal fight. Yeah, El Drago. And then when I graduated and I started working, I went to Hong Kong, and then I saw this Excalibur Beyblade that has the sword launcher. It was the dual layer one, and I bought it. And then when I got back home after a few months, we have them in our local toy stores, and then started from there.
No, that's really cool. I think something interesting too, you kind of talked about this, was you actually helped out with WBBA events or tournament events.
Oh, yeah.
What I'm a little bit curious on actually is that for the tournaments that you've had in your area, because, here, aside from the WBO, there are no really officially hosted events. So I'm kind of curious if you could explain kind of like what are the tournaments like in your areas, and if you could even touch on the WBBA if someone's curious about it.
Okay, so let me start. First, they started having tournaments way back 2018, I think, or 2017. I really don't know, but it was double layers. And then the tournaments were chaotic in the sense that they don't follow the real rules. So, do you remember the Worlds that happened in Japan that Philippines was invited? Our representative doesn't know how to play 3-on-3.
Oh, okay. I know what you're
Yeah. So they hired me as not really hired, but I was there to teach him how to play 3-on-3 before he goes to Japan. So fast forward, our toy distributor asked me to make a promotional video for the Beyblade shooting contest. So this happened during the pandemic. If you remember that Takara Tomy has a contest on a video making on the Beyblade shooting contest. Yeah. So after that, I got in touch with them, and then when they're planning to restart the tournaments in toy stores, in our local toy stores, and then I became like the one who manages the rules and everything, and then I was the one deploying judges in each tournament. So yeah,
So
that's how it works right now.
the lane.
Sorry.
No, you're good. No, I think it's really interesting because, you've gone from making competitive content, informational, and to, take it and to now even go beyond and just, host these events. I think it's really nice to see. Especially too, because these are like considered like official events because these are like backed by like, Takara, Tomy, and they want to make sure it's organized in the Asia area. So I think that's really interesting. So for kind of like the tournament events, because, they have kind of like all the rules and that stuff, kind of curious on like a viewer that's maybe watching, if you kind of give context to that, because, depending on where it is, whenever maybe some have rules there, so I'm curious.
Oh yeah, so for the events, we do a single elimination, and then after that, it's like the top 4, top 8. It depends on how many participants are there in that day. So yeah, as of now, we're doing 5G. Yeah, and then we have this gimmick called King of a particular Beyblade. So like first we did King of Valkyrie. So everyone was like must have like three Valkyrie combos, and then as of now, I think we have the King of Belial. Yeah. So what I did was they need to prepare all the stock Belials, Dynamite Belial, Dangerous Belial, and then the Divine Belial, right? So what they can do is they can put on the gears, but it should not repeat on each. So yeah, I hope everyone was having fun doing it. It's kind of chaotic though.
I like that idea actually, that it's like themed around the specific day, because then people have to get like creative with it. It's also interesting. So something I'm wondering too is what's like the usual attendance for those events? Like you don't have to have like the exact number, just like a ballpark, I guess.
Okay, so it depends on the location. So the highest I think was 50 or 60 all in all. So there are two categories, one junior and one senior. So I think there was a time that there are 30 juniors and then 20 to 30 seniors. So yeah, seniors are like teenagers up to adults, and then the juniors are like kids up to 12 years old, I think. Yeah.
That's really interesting, actually, because for the events here, because we go by the WBO to organize the events, your numbers, like, if it's like a really huge event and we try to pull it off, but it's like so casually for the Asia region to have really big numbers. And something else that was interesting that you talked about was age divisions. I think it is a very good idea because obviously, if like there's like a 4-year-old and then after they have like Valkyrie and someone has like Guilty Log and it's 20, it might lead towards the older.
Yeah. Well, kids right now, they are smart. I remember there was this one time that we did an open tournament. So this happened when we transitioned from 3-on-3 into 5G. So we waited for the new BU stocks to come over, or the new Dynamite Beyblades to come over. And then when they got released here locally, we decided to at this particular month, the kids can play 3-on-3. So, but if they want to play 5G, they can move into the senior category just to play the 5G format. And then, it's funny that I think for 3 weeks, 3 weekends, kids were topping the tournament. Yeah, they beat the adults. So it's kind of interesting.
So, back to where you left off, other thing. So I think it's very interesting that you mentioned the thing about the stadiums because the metas for both of them are very different.
Super.
I think most maybe might prefer standard, but like DB is very different. I think DB. Well, actually, you don't know what? I don't want to speak on it. I want you to give your thoughts on like standard and DB. And what do you think about it? Because I'm curious because you did a lot of events with it, so you have like a better perspective than let's say what I would.
Okay, so I know that they both play differently, but I think the people here likes the DB Stadium more because they prepare for the top 8, top 6, top 4 matches. So the players here prepare for both, but they test their combos with the DB Stadium more. So yeah, for some reason, I think in other tournaments they allow players to change their decks or their Beyblades in their decks. So here we don't allow them. It's not my decision, but it's the company's decision. So it's kind of hard, but I think the community here that they adapted into the meta. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point that you make. I think part of it too is I feel like here we don't do it, or it takes a while for us to like accept it. But I think what's really interesting about your area is the idea of adapting. Also, the idea of having it locked, because that means that whatever is the 3 you pick, you also have to factor in how it does it in the other stadium too. So I'm a little curious then, because the DB is kind of difficult for some attack types, but
yeah, super.
What have you experienced with like attack types in the DB stadium? I'm actually a little curious on this.
Oh yeah, so what I see is I think there's only one Beyblade dominating in attack types. So it's the no, there are two. So it's kind of funny because the other one is a Super King. So those are both the Longinuses. So it's the Guilty and the Rage. So for the driver, I think they're using the extreme metal, or I think the variable dash from the new from the Valkyrie.
That's a little interesting actually. I was a little surprised. I thought because what I've noticed is that in some Japan 5G stuff, they'll use like well just really Guilty. That's like for attack, but it'll be like a weird hybrid because like since DB is kind of more stamina oriented, they'll get like a stamina driver and they'll put it on it. But I don't know how many KOs have you really? Okay, no, I guess not like a finite number, but like have you seen like a lot of KOs in the DB stadium? I'm kind of wondering that.
I did. I encountered a lot. So mostly from Guilty. Yeah, from Guilty. Yeah, there's shout out to my friend Rayan. He's a subscriber and he follows you a lot. So shout out to him. He was the one who uses that attack type Guilty Longinus. So yeah, mostly from that guy.
Okay, hey, listen, someone's got to rep attack types, huh? So I think it's very interesting just to get a little bit of your perspective on it. I'm kind of curious too. I know the stadium was a little short-lived, but you remember the Dash Stadium, the blue one?
Oh yeah.
Did anything come out of that? Because I think it was in a really bad place.
Oh, sorry. Remember my statement earlier that I changed the stadium into the spinning? I remember it wasn't that tournament. So lately I used the the limit break stage. That was the color blue, right? Yeah. So they were really shocked about it. So I was kind of hyped about it when it got released, but I was sad that after a few months, they because you're selling Beyblades, right? So my content back then I was also selling, so I could fly. So I got a glimpse of the product that, oh my god, they'll be releasing a new stadium again. How about the other one? So yeah, that was my reaction.
Yeah, because they released it right at the end of Sparking, and had no room to breathe, because then after they did the DV Stadium, and all three stadiums differ quite a bit. They're not the exact same way that you play it, so it's like a big curveball. It's like, I don't know if they just weren't faithful in it, or it felt like one of those spin-off stadiums, but they considered it like a main stadium. That's the weird thing, because it's not like the spin-off, like the Spikes one. Like,
oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like they were like, okay, this is like our main stadium for now. Like, oh, okay, actually, it's the DP Stadium.
Yeah, it's kind of short-lived.
I'm a little curious actually, because you talked about this, because you said you took trips to Japan and Hong Kong. So I'm just curious, if it what's about, what was it like?
So Hong Kong, at first I was kind of intrigued about it, because what I learned was what releases in Japan releases at them also. So sometimes I get the Beyblades even earlier, like 2 or 1 day earlier, for some reason. So if you remember, I have unboxings that's 1 day early or 2 days earlier. So I think they fix it now because they don't want like content creators to do stuff early, because Takara Tomy, I think, is getting angry about it. So I don't know about you.
I was gonna say, because like there's Peter Peg, who like Funbox sponsors, and like they're like a week or like really long before, which is because you're in the region and you're basically like their main demographic for where they're putting the base to. So I would think they would want to send it to you early, because you're like promoting it. Like, it makes more sense than anyone here, right? Because like we're not the audience. No, that's interesting. Well, hey, you gotta sort out some deals. You gotta say, hey, I'm MackTheBurst. Hey, I wanted a day early, 2 days early.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, it's kind of hard, but because when I was there, there's only one person that understands me. So I think you know her, right? Yeah. So she told me I can make the video, but I can like release it on the day of the release date.
Of the release, yeah.
Yeah. So just to make everything not problematic for her. Yeah. I just did it, like, yeah.
Yeah, because you time to prepare anyways for the video. That way, if you want time to edit or review it, then that's good. That's good. That's so actually I was a little bit curious on this, because I saw you took a little bit of a hiatus. I know you mentioned because you were focusing a lot on the tournament scene, but
oh yeah, and also I'm on my weight loss journey.
Amen. I hope you best of luck. Okay. Hey, listen, I have weights too, and I'm on the same boat too. No, very very happy for that. That's a very good thing, because priorities, whatever. No, I'm happy for that. I hope it works out.
It did. I already lost like 100 pounds since July.
Amen.
Yeah.
It takes time, but it's aesthetic. I am actually very happy for that too. That's very good that you're staying on top of your health.
Thank you so much.
But for videos, when are we gonna see it? Like a year?
Okay,
man, we gotta see a return.
Okay. So I know I know that there's this small paper from our previous releases, 321. So I want to ask you now, what do you know about it? So,
Hold on. That's
so
on the record or off the record? All right. Since you've experienced the generations of Beyblade, plastics, metal, burst, what I'm curious on a little bit is kind of moving to the fourth that we know, because obviously all the teasers they show in the video of 4, right? What is something that you want to see them implement? Like, could be how they do the battles. You don't want them to burst anymore. Maybe customization, something. What's something you would want to see that would be something like, hey, if this was the 4th generation, I'd be excited for.
Okay, so I think it's a burst metal Beyblades.
Fair. Yeah. I think that's so basically Chozetsu, right?
Yeah.
So you would say this is actually a good question to ask, because I know some are fond. I think I'm more not fond anymore, probably because I've done it for like 7 years now. But what do you think? Like, would you want them to keep bursting, or would you want them to just not burst? You know what I mean? Because like we've done like this been like 7 years basically of like the base explode.
Yeah.
So I'm a little curious. Do you like the bursting gimmick? Do you think maybe they could try to do it again and maybe try to do it differently? Maybe how they handle it? I'm a little curious actually.
So, for me, bursting is a good addition to the win condition, because during our previous generations, I mean, it's only outspin, knockouts, and then I think it's a good addition.
I think it's a good thing for what you mentioned, because I think everyone is either someone says they don't want the burst at all, or maybe they could try to do the burst but somewhat differently. I think the metal thing is something interesting. It's not I have anything against any of the like the original generation or whatever, nothing like that. I like metal and metal contact just because they can be a little bit more like the shapes are like, if you look at like a metal fight bay for its shape, I mean like a burst bay. Like, they're very contrasting shapes. I do think metal fight, like, you have pretty big battles with them. And it obviously, length does vary sometimes, right? Like, technically, a burst on average should be shorter than a metal fight thing. But I think you make a good point on the win condition, because it adds something else. Like, for me personally, I think it's how they did it, because some things weren't balanced. You know what I mean? Like, some things just had really bad teeth, and it hurts the thing, because then after maybe it could be, this could have been good, but because the teeth were bad, it doesn't work out. Or like, it's weird, because like, you've been in like, you were really doing a lot of content Super King, you know this as well too, like sparking bays, like the double chassis, right? Like, when did they burst? It's weird, because I think I oddly enjoy it more when they don't burst, because I think some things can do better, and you can kind of maybe enjoy it a little bit more. I think what burst probably did the best, and I'm curious on this as we end off, but in terms of like gimmicks wise, like what did you think of how burst did? Because we've done through like so many layer systems, so I'm kind of curious. What did you think of what burst did?
So what burst did? One is the gimmicks. And also I like how easy it is to customize the Beyblade. So how they're assembled and everything. And also I like how they. So you cannot apply this in Hasbro though. So I like how I like how they what you see in the anime, somehow you can see it in real life. So it's kind of.
Okay, I get what you mean. I think that we talked about this for like Nightwing, I'm pretty sure too. It's like seeing how they advertise the bays, because I think compared to previous generations, like they focus a lot more this time on the gimmick. So like when you see like someone do like free do nothing break, you're like, oh, I have the nothing driver. If I hard launch, I could So I definitely would agree with that. I think I sound like a Hasbro. I don't know how much recently about the Hasbro stuff, but you mentioned the whole thing because the Hasbro based on the gimmicks, right? So it's two parts. So for starters, in Turbo, so that's Chozetsu, right?
Chosetsu, yeah.
Basically, anytime they mention a gimmick, and if they don't have the gimmick, they modify the line.
Yeah.
But what's more than it's that the stadiums in the animation, right? From Turbo onwards, it's Hasbro ordered because Hasbro has all the special stadiums, right? So that's why they always battle in that, right? And later on, it gets a little bit more annoying because you'll watch it and like the line changes are really cringe. But I gotta give credit because if they have to basically write around what it is, like you have to really get creative with what you say. Like you remember Astral, right? You know Astral it flips. Okay, so Mel on the show will say something like, "Oh, it switched to right rotation," but in the dub, it'll say, "Oh, that's a neat trick," because the Astral doesn't have it.
Yeah. It's kind of hard though for that to happen.
Yeah, but with Hasbro, because Takara Tomy did not do a BU season, so what Hasbro did was basically they're like, "Okay, guys, whatever. Here's the money. We need to advertise this. Us, and we're in the band right now." They have QuadStrike, so that's basically the Hasbro version of the Burst Ultimate base, and they have all the characters, whatever. But this time they use only the Hasbro base. So that's how they get the workaround. So that's why like you won't see like Zyphoid Excalibur. You don't see the sword come out because it doesn't have it. You don't see the disc line, right? So I thought it was interesting you said that because I think they finally figured out how to do it. Which was weird because, like, for an English viewer, right, we'll watch it. Like, a viewer will watch some of my videos and they'll go, wait, what is he talking about in this? Because a lot of people will only see the Hasbro base and the show doesn't talk about it, right? So they'll see my video and I'll mention all these gimmicks and like, but what is he talking about? Why is he hating on the base?
Well, it's kind of funny because they're releasing the Pro Series Beyblades, but oh my god,
Yeah. Oh, because you really don't. Okay, this is the fun. I get to educate you on this. Good. Okay, so I want to give you some context because Pro Series is really funny. Okay, so basically, Hasbro to Takara Tomy, they're basically a 1-to-1 for a while, right? And the only difference is like they had slopes instead of teeth, right?
Yep.
Okay, so then after Turbo started remove the metal, GT removed the layer weights, all that stuff, right? Sparking, no chassis system, right? You know what I mean, right? They remove all this stuff. But then after near the end of the year when Surge debuted, which was sparking for us, they did Pro Series, right? But here's the kicker here, because I'm curious on your thoughts. First of all, they did tactic here, where basically the bays are like garbage, like the base bays, right? And like a more expensive product, like marked up, like basically what it costs for a Pro Series bay is like what it would cost for like a Buried Lucifer or like a Zyphoid Excalibur, right? For like the base price. And it's like a bay with a launcher. But, for your region, that'd be maybe like 14, 15 right here. That'd be like for the retail price. But they marked it up. And here's the best part. So, whatever. It's the Takara Tomy bays. It's not exactly Hasbro bays with the gimmicks. It's just TT Portal, right? But, well, you know what they did? They took a shortcut. Because all the materials on this stuff is cheaper materials. So you know what happens? Okay. It breaks easier. So the biggest issue with Burst is like the teeth wear down, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well for a Pro Series, times 10.
Oh my god.
In double chassis, it's like really hard to wear teeth, right?
Yeah.
Almost impossible. Hasbro, if you do a test on like a TT bay, barely see anything. Maybe it depends on what the teeth is, but like on ones that are good teeth, like you'll probably like see barely anything over the period of time you try. You do it on a Hasbro thing, that thing is probably almost broken off.
Oh no!
And they got like both different. And what's the best part is that it's made in the same factory as Vietnam, right? And all you have to do is just pay a little bit more, and they don't. Like Extend Plus, right? I'm gonna give you an example.
Yeah.
Extend Plus. Okay, it has a tiny sharp. Okay, so you know what Hasbro did? It costs too much. So on the molds that Extend Plus, it's basically like it's already almost worn, where it's like it's sharp, and some good ones it's sharp.
Okay.
But it's pretty flat, right? And the thing is for us, it depends, right? It depends on what area you're in, because in the US, it's a little bit different on the retail for what you would afford, and there's like a different argument for affordability. But like in here, right? It's like $40 Canadian, and the prices are going up. And it's not just like Toys R Us that sells here. This is like even like Walmart, I think is like 32 or something. But like it's expensive, right? Yeah, that's my reaction too. If you're in Canada and you want to try to get like bays from Hasbro, it is like the worst thing to afford. And maybe, you could say, oh, it's the Canadian dollar, it's this. No, like it sucks here. And
wait.
Yeah, no, go for it. Go for it.
40 Canadian dollars for
Yeah.
Beyblade?
And here's the thing. It's not even like comes with like a nice launch. You know what it comes with? All of them come with. They're all the same price point, right? Comes with like the basic ripcord launcher. They never did even a string launcher. Never
The ones
even one string.
The ones that we have during the God series area?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know the battle sets. Yeah, basic too. They not even for the bays that made sense, right? You see, this is good because I get to tell you about it. Now you get to know. Phoenix came with like the winder, right? The special launcher and dragon, right?
Yeah.
Never did it. Oh, so Ace Dragon. Ace Dragon had Rock and Grand, and Venom had like the Erase. No, sorry. If you buy it, you only get Ace. If you buy it, you only get Venom.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. You see, you gotta know. See, we suffer here, okay? People are envious when they're gonna hear about your region and how you're basically close to the source, right? You guys don't gotta do any of the stuff here.
Actually, we kind of fixed it right now. So, the main reason I was getting funds for my trips is that back then, we get the newly released Beyblades a year later.
Oh yeah,
because
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, because of the English anime. So what happens is I was the one like selling the Beyblades, but it's not for me to profit from it.
Right.
If people will be open-minded on what I do every month. So every month I travel. I go to Hong Kong or Japan every month. And then the profit that I get from selling Beyblades comes from there. So it kind of helped me. Yeah.
It's a good thing because it's also accessibility. Because I don't like it here, and the thing is like we basically have to see, and I feel bad for the viewer, right? That could only get Hasbro, because if you see a TT Bay, like Guilty Longinus, right? Oh, it has the metal. Oh, it has the dragons underneath. Oh, Metal Destroy. Oh, Karma, right? So I don't know if you see it or not, but I'll give you the idea. So like the armors, are metal, right?
Yeah.
Plastic. Guilty, all plastic. The underneath where it has those extra dragons, hollowed out. All like how the DB discs and everything?
Yeah.
They cut it half in the weight. So instead of it being 30 grams, you know what it is? Like 24, 26. What's the best part? The bays are so bad, they had to think of something. The tips don't even have gimmicks anymore. It's all plastic now. What they do is they have like an attachment. It's like a plastic attachment, right? So because there's low and high mode, and there's attachment or no attachment, you know what they call it? 4-in-1.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, see, it's good for this, right? Because I'm sure in your region you don't have to worry about this issue. But no, I didn't realize that you don't know some of the stuff that happens here. But a lot of banks suffer.
I have a idea though, because I watch your Hasbro unboxings, but the way you explain it to me, like one-on-one, because you're a great content creator. You always say positive stuff about the product when you're unboxing, but also but it's a different story comparing it to Takara Tomy. It's really a different story, because I was just checking Amazon on my phone just now. I searched for Guilty Longinus, and then I think it's like $30 US dollars when I saw it there. So It's like almost doubled, or I think double the price from the retail. Yeah, but
Oh,
you will account the shipping from Asia. Yeah,
oh yeah,
it's kind of
for sure.
yeah.
You know what the best part about it is, right? So obviously, okay, you know, compared to TT, it's no contest anymore. It's always gonna be TT's gonna win. TT's gonna like shred these things in two. Here's the best part. So even if you look at it within Hasbro only, so that means only Hasbro releases that they've done. I'm gonna actually give some context on this, but do you know how many years it took, like, for a proper release of like Stamina to beat like Spriggan Requiem or like something really strong like from the QuadStrike area?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it took until like Sparking. It took until like part of QD/QS, which is like the stuff going on now, and they still can't. They still struggle a little bit. They still struggle. They, there's like
Yeah.
a left B. It's like a Hasbro exclusive, and it looks like
Okay.
Bahamut called Fierce Basilisk, right? It's basically like Roar. It can struggle to beat Arc Bahamut or Drain Fafnir. Like, like for the bays, they're in your area, right? It's a creep each time because as the bays get heavier, right, you can't necessarily use older stuff unless there's like a specific, right? And here it's like the reverse. So if you have something from a few years ago, you're pretty much like set. And it does hurt me because I feel bad because I'm like, damn, these things suck. Like, even isolated, it's very rough. But what I thought was really good about this was just for you to kind of just get the idea. And I do really appreciate your time. And I'm a little curious on this. I know kind of like you danced around, but is it possible that we can see you return this year to see you uploading again? Because even if you're doing tournaments, I think Papa Bay, he records the events. He does like compilations.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good thing to see because what's interesting about what you do is that a lot of us don't see what actually happens at the events because we don't live there. So I think, sharing your experience today, I think it's really interesting because one, I think it's really cool you talked about the format stuff, and I want to see you upload again. Like you have to. It's a must. For the goals this year, we got to do at least one upload this year. We got to see.
Yeah, okay. So my best bet is on what's gonna happen on the 321 teaser. So I really don't know what will happen on that day, but maybe I'll try to book my tickets, and then maybe that will be my comeback. So I'm not really sure. So if there's no release, maybe I'll just go to Disneyland or something.
All right. So,
well, I really want to do content, but in a way, I want to help my other content creators to like document what's happening here in Philippines. But
yeah, I was gonna ask that actually. Just to end off, I don't think I even asked. Like, how big is the community? Because I know you said like 60. Like, it's pretty active, no?
Yeah. I think it's really big. It's really big. Not entirely like hundreds or 200s, but when there's a grand tournament or a really really big tournament, I think the attendees bumped like up to 80 participants. Yeah.
That's nuts.
I'm not sure, but there were a lot of players way back 2019. I think there were almost 100 participants battling out for the main tournament. So it got subtracted, or it got lessened out after the pandemic era, like 2020 to 2021. But what I'm happy about is there are a lot of new players that came along. Like there were a lot of players that tried to buy Beyblades during 2020 that up until now they're buying, and then also they're playing because there are tournaments present. So what I heard about them is that they were bored. They want to buy something new just for them to, you know, get entertained. So yeah, it's a good thing that I see them playing Beyblade right now.
So as we're ending off, I want to mention that if you want to check out MackTheBurst, he has a YouTube channel, which we'll leave a link in the description below. And if you want to plug anything at the end, you can go for it. If you want to say anything, any events, whatever you want to advertise, go for it. The floor is yours.
Okay, so I want to shout out this team called South Boys. So South Boys, is a team here in our here in Manila that they make a tournament out of the WBBA tournaments here in our local toy store. So they do like gimmicks that's not seen in a regular tournament. So yeah, shout out to them because they're really doing they're really doing their best into promoting the hobby. Yeah, because they like invite people to get enticed playing Beyblades, and yeah, the turnout is really nice. Oh yeah,
All right.
shout out to Goto Master. Yeah, Goto Master. Goto Master is the venue. It's the venue of those tournaments, aside from the local stores tournaments. Okay.
So we'll make sure to leave a link in the description below if you want to check out MackTheBurst. That's going to be it for this one. Please make sure to support Mac and get his subscribers up. We want to see him upload again, so please show him some support and some love.
Thank you so
be
much.
it for now. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day and bye.
MackTheBurst, peace out. Bye bye.